Buongiorno a tutti.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to those who are connected with us online. Roberto Cicutto, the president of La Biennale. The most important thing, I introduce the curator of the 60th International Art Exhibition, Biennale Arte 2024, Adriano Pedrosa. Adriano was invited to play this role after a long search we have carried out, as we did before choosing the curator for the Architecture Biennale, Leslie Locco. She's here with us. Welcome. And I'm saying this because I think that all those we have contacted had extraordinary characteristics, skills, professional skills, and strong human sympathy. Unfortunately, we have to choose just one curator. And there are many reasons why we choose a person rather than another. And I'm saying this because the responsibility of the president to appoint the curator is the most difficult and important choice a president has to make. So I really hope you will appreciate what Adriano is going to tell us today. You will appreciate this when you will see the exhibition even more. Just a few words of presentation about what we have shared before the presentation of the contents and the title of this exhibition. Adriano Pedrosa is a Brazilian curator and director of MASP, the Sao Paulo Museum of Art, designed by the Italian-born architect Lina Bobardi. He has shown outstanding originality and innovation, anticipating themes and curatorial approaches later followed by other exhibitions around the world. I believe that changing the point of view from which to talk about contemporary art is what an institution with international standing of La Biennale di Venezia must do. And this is not just an aesthetic point of view, but rather a geographical one, just like in a film when you shoot a reverse shot of the same scene. This is the 60th edition of the International Exhibition of Contemporary Art, within a span of 128 years since the first, and there has never been a curator from a Latin American country. There has always been a significant participation of South American artists in La Biennale, but it is very different when they are invited by a curator who has roots in the same culture and has developed a global outlook over the years. His research is also focused on artists who, despite coming from different worlds and cultures, have been able to maintain the feelings, characteristics, and experiences of their native culture wherever they may be. It will be interesting to discover how many national pavilions will follow this theme and how they will address it. I am pleased that this exhibition includes artworks created in the past century that are now considered to be points of reference for the new generations, and we will find many Italian artists within this movement. Adriano Pedrosa will also direct the second edition of College Arte, an activity inaugurated in 2022 with Cecilia Alemani, an activity which is very important for La Biennale. I am certain that the 60th International Art Exhibition and its curator will be able to move us, and as the curator of the 18th Biennale Architettura, Leslie Locco, said, fill in those gaps in art history which many heretofore neglected artists. Good luck.
Thank you, Roberto, for the very kind words. Thank you also for the invitation to organize what is really arguably the most important biennale dedicated to contemporary art. but also the most important platform, really, that allows for extraordinary visibility for the artists and the artworks included in the exhibition. I want to start by thanking briefly Roberto, the president, as well as the board who appointed me and gave me this extraordinary possibility, opportunity, and responsibility as well. I want to thank also all the colleagues at the Biennale, particularly Johan, Andrea, and Cristiana, who have been, and Cristiano as well, who have been helping me along the lines here to develop this complex and ambitious and challenging project. Also want to thank the artistic organizers that are working with me so far, Amanda Carneiro and Sofia Gotti, as well as the museum where I work with, Museu de Arte de São Paulo, Assis Chateaubriand in Brazil, who have been very generous and tolerant with my time as I've been traveling quite a lot to develop research here for this Biennale. It's really a wonderful opportunity, and I'm very pleased to do so. I will read my short statement that you will receive briefly. Stranieri ovunque, foreigners everywhere. The title of the 60th International Art Exhibition of La Biennale di Venezia is drawn from a series of works started in 2004 by the Paris-born and Palermo-based collective Claire Fontaine. The works consist of neon sculptures in different colors that render in a growing number of languages the words foreigners everywhere, stranieri ovunque. I hope my pronunciation is decent. The phrase comes in turn from the name of a Turin collective who fought racism and xenophobia in Italy in the early 2000s, stranieri ovunque. The backdrop for the work, for Claire Fontaine's work, is a world full of multiple crises concerning movement and existence of people across countries, nations, territories, and borders, which reflect the perils and pitfalls of language, translation, ethnicity, expressing differences and disparities conditioned by identity, nationality, race, gender, sexuality, wealth, and freedom. In this landscape, the phrase foreigners everywhere has at least a dual meaning. First of all, that wherever you go and wherever you are, you will always encounter foreigners. They or we are everywhere. Secondly, that no matter where you find yourself, you are always truly and deep down inside a foreigner yourself. Artists have always traveled under the most diverse circumstances, moving through cities, countries, and continents, a phenomenon that has only grown since the late 20th century, ironically a period marked by increasing restrictions on dislocation and displacement of people. The Biennale Arte 2024 will focus on artists who are themselves foreigners, immigrants, expatriates, diasporic, émigrés, exiles, refugees, especially those who have moved between the global south and the global north, and vice versa. The figure of the foreigner is associated with the stranger, the straniero, the estranho, the étranger, and thus the exhibition unfolds and focuses on the production of other related subjects beyond the foreigner, him or herself. The queer artist, who has moved within different sexualities and genders, often being persecuted or outlawed. The outsider artist, who is located at the margins of the art world, much like the self-taught or the so-called folk artist, as well as the indigenous artist, frequently treated as a foreigner in his or her own land. The production of these artists is the primary focus of this Biennale and constitutes the international exhibition's so-called nucleo contemporaneo, the contemporary nucleus. And although their work is often informed by their own lives, experiences, observations, and histories, there are also those artists who delve into more formal issues with their own foreign accent. Works by these artists will not be gathered in different sections dedicated to the queer artists, the outsider artists, the foreigners, and the indigenous artists, but will appear and reappear dispersed throughout the exhibition as motifs. The international exhibition will also feature a nucleus storico, a historical nucleus, gathering works from 20th century Latin America, Africa, the Arab world, and Asia. Much has been written about global modernisms and modernisms in the global south, and a number of rooms will feature work from these territories, much like an essay, a draft, a speculative curatorial exercise that seeks to question the boundaries and definitions of modernism. We are all too familiar with the history of modernism in Euro-America. Yet the modernisms in the global south remain largely unknown, and thus they assume a truly contemporary relevance. We urgently need to learn more about them and from them. European modernism itself traveled far beyond Europe throughout the 20th century, often intertwined with colonialism, and many artists in the global south traveled to Europe to be exposed to modernism. Yet modernism was appropriated, devoured, and cannibalized in the global south, repeatedly taking on radically new shapes and forms in dialogue with local indigenous references. In addition, a special section in the Nucleus Storico will be devoted to the worldwide Italian artistic diaspora in the 20th century. Italian artists who traveled and moved abroad, developing their careers in Africa, in Asia, in Latin America, in the Arab world, as well as in the rest of Europe, becoming embedded in local cultures, and who often played significant roles in the development of the narratives of modernisms beyond Italy. The Biennale itself, an international event with numerous official participations by different countries, has always been a platform for the exhibition of works by foreigners from all over the world. Thus, the 60th International Art Exhibition of La Biennale di Venezia, the Biennale Arte 2024, will be a celebration of the foreigner, of the distant, the outsider, the queer, as well as the indigenous. We hope to welcome you all in Venice in April 2024. Thank you very much.